Good morning, everyone. And I would like to take this time to welcome you all to my home, Tsunami Hair Studio. I am Latoya Lyles Walker, a licensed cosmetologist and a DC native. As a little girl, I often dreamt of being a cosmetologist. I recently revisited my 5th grade journal where I outlined goals that I wanted to accomplish in life. Own a full-service salon, which included a car wash for the ladies being serviced, which is to come, and a secure daycare to allow women the opportunity to fully relax without distraction while being pampered. Over the past 13 years of my career, I have served in many capacities: student, shampoo assistant, mentor, teacher, counselor, friend, and artistic designer, all of which has contributed to the stylist extraordinaire I am today. I have been afforded many opportunities, none of which I take for granted. I've trained under the industry's top leaders. I've traveled over the nation and won 15 hair show competitions to date. Tsunami Hair Studio is a diverse, full-service salon where not only God hangs out, but local celebrities like yourselves. Tsunami was birthed to create an environment where information is shared and women are supported, uplifted, celebrated, motivated, and encouraged. Women come in with a mission of receiving services, and they leave out with a new do and a brighter spirit. We have built an inclusive culture where all women are welcome to sparkle. I walked into this building 7 years ago with a purpose, a passion as a renter of the 2nd floor unit, unsure of how the pieces would take shape, but with prayer, dedication, and challenging work, I grew. I grew to rent both floors, which has facilitated to the reason why we are here today. By receiving this grant, I was provided the opportunity to purchase the property where I can continue my work of empowering other women. My mission is to be a staple within my community. I will continue bridging the gap of business owners and community leaders for Ward 7. It's my hope to inspire other Ward 7 businesses to seek and apply for the many resources DC has to offer. I am excited to announce Tsunami School of Hair and Design 501c will be opening very soon. I am utterly excited to educate other young teens and women. There will be various programs offered to introduce the craft of cosmetology in a fun and exciting, but yet educational environment. We will work with other nonprofit organizations and businesses to offer wraparound services to help bring stability to our community. I would like to thank my tribe, which includes my husband, my parents, family, friends, my wonderful, outstanding, talented staff, my bishop, fellow stakeholders, and clients. I thank you all. I thank you all for your love, for your support, your prayers, and always being there for me. I would also like to give a very, very special thank you to DMPED, to DSLBD, to Judge Mary Terrell, to Ward 7 Partnership, Truist Bank, Truist Bank, Moise, City First Enterprises, Joyster LLC, who was my wonderful realtor to help with this closing. I would also like to thank my PTAC counselor, Sheila Edmondson, and of course, our wonderful Madam Mayor. A special thank you, a special thank you to the team working behind the scenes, which took the time to strategize a plan to offer financial aid for small businesses and entrepreneurs like myself. As a result of your endless work, a little girl's dream has matured into a reality. The foundation of a legacy has been laid. To every little girl, woman, entrepreneur with a dream, I encourage you to keep God front and center and remember, dreams don't expire, they come true. And with that, I would like to introduce to you all Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Look at LaToya Lyles. Look at that. I'm at work, I'm not at church, but I'm going to say, look at God. So I want to say thank you, LaToya, for hosting us, and I want to give you my congratulations. I love that you referenced your journal as a 10-year-old and what that plan has meant in your life. I feel honored to be here with you as you realize part of that plan. And I know for sure that your testimony will pour into somebody else. So give LaToya another round of applause. We know that not only did LaToya apply for this grant, and we're going to give you the specifics of it because it's a big deal. We know that she's also helping small business owners follow her path and take advantage of what we're here to talk about today. We have heard loud and clear that DC businesses want this commercial property acquisition fund. Some people thought, they were skeptical, that if we put millions of dollars in the fund and told our legacy businesses that if they applied, then that we would help them buy their buildings. They were skeptical that people would be interested, be ready, take us up on it, do the hard work, and get to the closing date. They were skeptical. But we know what we've seen is that businesses are coming forward, that they have a vision, and what they need is a partner. And they're finding a partner in the District of Columbia. So I want to say, last week I presented a balanced budget to the Council of the District of Columbia, and it added $4 million to the Commercial Property Acquisition Fund. We're joined today by Council Member Kenyan McDuffie. He's currently the Ward 5 Council Member, and he has been so focused on how we pour into our business community, our legacy business community, and Black people in Washington, D.C. It's been my honor to work with him on this effort to make sure that businesses like LaToya's not only can stay in D.C., can grow in D.C., and turn rent payments into equity. Equity is another way of saying how we're building wealth in our community. LaToya and Angel Gregorio, who is the owner of another D.C. small business, the Spice Suite, are our first 2 awardees. And we have another 10 awardees that we're working with to finalize their grants right now. You've heard about our financial partner, City First, the largest Black-led bank in the country. And I want to recognize Sonia Wells, their Chief Lending Officer, for being our partner in administering this program. And once we know this, when our residents find their pathway to the middle class, we want them to stay there, which is why our legacy initiative also includes programs that will help families pass their properties on from one generation to the next. And we know we can do these things. We can help Black and brown residents buy property and increase their wealth. if we can keep more longtime D.C. residents and business owners in D.C. And if we combine this with all the work we're doing to add more affordable housing in D.C. neighborhoods, that we can put a stop to displacement in our city. We want to give more families like LaToya's, like mine, like the Lees, who have worked here for generations, have been here through the tough times, and want to stay in the good times. Now, the government, the Kenyan knows this, we have a lot of good ideas. We do. But the best ideas are from you. Those are the best ideas from entrepreneurs who've had a vision, who've had to make payroll, who had to pay the rent, who had to pivot during COVID. The best ideas are from you. And so we will keep pushing. We will keep coming up with big ideas. We will keep working hand in hand with our partners on the council because we want this city to be the most equitable big city in America. And that is why I advanced to the council a $19.5 billion budget that does more for affordable housing. $500 million, Judge Terrell. 2,700 new units. It does more to make sure that we have a fair and just public safety system, to make sure that people returning home are coming home to good and rich programs and services. It makes sure we're doing more for the middle class as well, because I hear from a lot of people, you know, I don't qualify for that program over there. What about me? And we know people need help starting their businesses, helping their aging parents, fixing up their properties. And that's how we keep Washingtonians in Washington. And that is what we're committed to do. So standing on this beautiful, beautiful street in Ward 7, let's continue to celebrate, but let's continue to be challenged. So with that, I want to introduce our council member from Ward 5 and chairman of the council's Economic Development Committee, Council Member Kenyan McDuffie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And good morning. And greetings to everybody who is here this morning. We're here for a very important reason. And as was mentioned, my name is Kenyan McDuffie. I'm council member for Ward 5, and I chair the council's Committee on Economic Development. I want to begin by thanking Mayor Bowser, by thanking her for her leadership and her commitment to investments in legacy businesses, longtime residents here in the District of Columbia, in this case, a native Washingtonian. Let's give Mayor Bowser a round of applause for that commitment. I want to thank her team, Deputy Mayor John Palcicchio, and everybody else at DEMPED, DSLBD, Director Whitfield and her team for their support. I want to thank Sonia Wells at City First Enterprise for their efforts to partner with the district to ensure that local, small, and minority-owned businesses have access to funding to further their initiatives and to help fulfill their dreams. I also want to thank LaToya Lyles, owner of Tsunami Hair Studio. I am so excited for her, and my excitement increased when I heard her story, and she talked about that journal that the mayor referenced. These types of programs, because sometimes people, Mayor Bowser, sometimes people look back and say, oh, well, you're giving this money away, you're giving these handouts to people, you're giving these grants away, and this is not a handout. She's been hard at work for quite some time. If anything, this is a hand up for her to build on the solid foundation that she's already established. LaToya is one of many business owners who have taken the risk of starting and operating a business in parts of the city that in some cases have been overlooked. The Commercial Acquisition Fund helps to break down barriers to access to capital, unlock wealth building opportunities for entrepreneurs, reduce black and brown unemployment, and limit commercial gentrification and displacement. I see eliminating the district's stark racial wealth gap as one of the most important challenges that we have facing us as a government. People need to realize that the government played an active role in creating the disparities that we see today, and it's only natural that our government with our mayor and our council, play an even more active role and be more intentional in eliminating those disparities that exist. Indeed, our government is morally obligated to reverse course and be a part of the solutions, and this is yet another example of the types of investments we need to eliminate those disparities and build up communities here in the District of Columbia, black and brown communities right here in our nation's capital. As chair of the Committee on Business and Economic Development, I've championed workers and small businesses through the lens of racial equity, especially during the pandemic. That includes multiple rounds of bridge fund grants, funding for Equity Impact Fund, funding for the commercial development financial institutions and the minority depository institutions, recurring funding for the DC Anchor Partnership, as well as creating the Equity Impact Enterprise Program in the fiscal year 22 budget. In totality, these measures are creating opportunities for residents and entrepreneurs who historically have not been able to access them. Did you know that it's estimated that only 14% of district businesses are owned by black and brown residents? That's both a reflection of and a reinforcing factor in our racial wealth gap. Black Washingtonians also experience an unemployment rate of 12.6%, 5 times higher than their white peers. Having more black-owned businesses helps to address the racial wealth gap and address the income disparities that we see. And the Commercial Acquisition Fund is an essential component of our economic inclusion platform to make sure residents in every zip code can thrive and operate successful businesses. Again, I want to thank Mayor Bowser, her entire team, Latoya, Angel, and all the other entrepreneurs. I see Rick Lee here, and that's an example of what we like to see in Latoya and Angel, which is family-owned, black-owned, brown-owned businesses that are building legacies and being passed down for generations. It is truly the American dream, and what we heard from her today is she is building on a foundation and helping to deliver her dream for herself, her family, and hopefully for others to come. It is truly an honor to witness this day. You have my commitment that I will continue to provide access to resources to adequately address the gaps that exist among underserved residents and businesses in the District of Columbia. Let's have one more round of applause for what's happening right here today. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm John Palcicchio. I have the honor of serving as Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. Judge Terrell welcomed me here this morning, and she said, I told Latoya to stay on DEMPED, and that DEMPED is going to find a way. So, Judge Terrell, I need everybody to emulate what Judge Terrell did. And we've set up a website. It's very easy. All right? You don't even have to write it down. It's easy to remember. ObviouslyDC.com. Right? ObviouslyDC.com. Yeah, it's humble, I know. But ObviouslyDC.com is where we list all of our programs to support DC businesses. So if you're like Latoya and you rent your business, but you want to own the building, then you should look at ObviouslyDC.com. If you are a business owner, maybe you already own the building, right? But you want to make an investment. Coming out of the pandemic, we've all talked about pivots. Well, DEMPED, Mayor Bowser, we want to invest in that pivot. So we have the Small and Medium Growth Business Fund to do that as well. So where do you go to check out all those programs? Judge Terrell, should we do it again? All right, where do you go to check out all those programs? Great. So, all right. So now everybody here is enlisted in that mission to make sure that everybody knows about it. So I have to thank the team that helped put this together. And Latoya mentioned that she watched our briefings. She checks out our webinars. It was great to meet her in person. Coming out of the pandemic, we will still have those webinars, but we'll also have the opportunity to see one another. And so there's some great people here today who helped us get to where we are. And I'm going to read these names, and there's a commonality among them. When I read them, you'll know what I'm saying. So Sabanglay Cook, who's standing behind me, who's the Director of Business Development for DEMPED. Christy Whitfield, who's the Director of the Department of Small Local Business Development. Sharon Carney, who's the Chief of Staff at DEMPED. Joy James and Emma Kesrick, who help us in the Business Development Unit. Let's give them all a round of applause. And did you notice the common thread? They're all women. That's right. So with that, DEMPED has a couple of jobs. We have to make sure that we create that affordable housing that the mayor was talking about. We have to make sure we keep creating jobs, and we have to keep supporting small businesses. So during the pandemic, there were $274 million that our department, our small but mighty department, pushed out to the business community to make sure they had what they needed. So coming out of the pandemic, we want to make sure that everybody knows that there are still resources to make sure that our comeback can be celebrated, like we're here to celebrate LaToya's today, and that we're all part of this comeback as well. So what's that website again? All right, with that, I'll bring back the mayor to introduce a special guest.
Well, thank you, John, for that. And I want to thank our entire team at DMPED. I like that. Stay on DMPED. I didn't hear you have them repeat that, John. Stay on DMPED. Stay on all my agencies, actually, because they like to work hard and they like to be held accountable because we're serious about delivering for D.C. residents. Now I have the pleasure of introducing my friend who knows a thing or two about running a legacy business, making sure her business is prepared for the future, being in D.C. during tough times and now better times, and prepared for the best of times. And it brings me just great pleasure to introduce Stacey Lee Banks, who's going to tell you about the Lee's Flowers story.
Thank you so much, Mayor Bowser. As she said, my name is Stacey Lee Banks, and I'm a proud Washingtonian and third-generation owner of Lee's Flower and Card Shop. Located, as you may know, on Northwest D.C. on the U Street corridor. My sister Christy and I are very proud to carry on our family's legacy. Our shop was founded in 1945 by William and Winifred Lee, my grandparents. They were both dedicated, hard-working people who migrated to D.C. from Malden, Massachusetts, my grandfather, and Montreal, Canada, my grandmother. 23 years after starting their business, William and Winifred had the opportunity to purchase the building they were occupying. So, in 1970, they bought the two connecting buildings at 1026 U Street for $80,000. I have the contract to prove it, the original contract. And they put down $1,000, and they also put down a $5,000 deposit. They got a loan from Industrial Bank, another legacy business in Washington, D.C., started in 1934. It's an 88-year-old business, black-owned, and it's directly across the street from our shop. But they have many more locations now. We still bank there after 77 years. My dad, Rick Lee, in 2012, when he decided to retire after 50 years at the shop, but you never really retire when you have a small business. He had a hard decision to make. He could sell our building and cash out and live the life, move to Hawaii, as he always said, or he could let his children buy the business. Do you know what he did? He let us make the decision. And we, of course, bought the business from him, but he still owns the building. And we pay him rent to help sustain his retirement. And so, the rest is history on that. And he's also able to rent out spaces in the building. So all that to say is owning your real estate, LaToya, is one of the most important things you can do in a business. You don't have to worry about your rent going up or being displaced at your landlord's whim. That's why when the mayor's office asked me to come and speak to you today, I jumped at the opportunity. This program is phenomenal. Up to $750,000 towards your purchase price. This should be a national program. We are so fortunate to have Mayor Bowser, who understands and implements programs like this to give business owners a jump start to success. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, and John Palcicchio, and Christy Whitfield, and and Sabangali for always being there for small businesses. And with that, I'd like to present these flowers to LaToya Lyles to brighten up your new building, and just want to thank you all for listening. God bless you and your
Thank you.
and listen to your story. You inspired me because you're not only going to run a business, but you're giving back by teaching, bringing other people into the fold, and so I'm inspired. I may open up a flower school. But no, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
God bless you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Owning your property is the key. So thank you for sharing that with us, Stacey. And now I want to present this key and open the door with the new owner of this building, LaToya Lyles. Let's do it.
So literally, we went to closing at 10 a.m. Friday. It was going to be a regular day for me. You know, I was going to keep it on a hush. No one knows that I purchased this property and just come to work as a normal day. And so I had clients scheduled for that day. As I pull up outside of my new building, I get a phone call from the mayor's office saying, "Congratulations." I'm like, "Are you speaking to the right person? Who are you looking for?" "I'm sorry, LaToya." I said, "This is LaToya." And I said, "Where are you calling from again?" Just to confirm. And they're like, "We're so excited for this opportunity, and we are going to do a press conference at your property Monday morning, 11 a.m. And the tears just begin to flow because this has not been, by far, easy. It hasn't been easy at all. It's been very challenging throughout the process. 7 years as an entrepreneur has its ups and downs. Surviving during a pandemic. It's nothing but a blessing to be able to purchase a building in a pandemic, surviving a pandemic. So I am utterly grateful for that. And it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming to know that as a little girl that I found a journal, you know, and just reading through those pages and seeing that my dreams and goals that I wrote on a paper as a young child is now becoming a reality. The tsunami has hit. The tsunami is here.